Hello again. Well, let me take a break from doing all my stuff and talk to you a little bit about compost. So there's the all right, this is what my compost pile. I've been piling up against this fence for a long time now. And because every year I've been neglecting the compost pile, and I've just piled it higher and higher until at one point it was halfway up the fence. And that was from last year. It was halfway up the fence, and I knew it would compost down, so I left it. And I was just I had other things on my mind, so I didn't do anything about it. So this is what the compost pile looked like before I started working on it. And when I started working on it, I took the layers of compost, and I put all of the compost the stuff, when it's composting, it is comprised of leaves and there's three things you want: brown and green and kitchen scraps and whatnot. So it had grass clippings, and what I do is I haven't put any weed and feed on my grass out back here for at least a decade. As you know, I used to have chickens, so yes, didn't put any weed and feed down. I didn't want the chickens to be poisoned or have anything poison in my backyard, because I knew I'd be growing things. So I would take the grass clippings, and I'd put them all along the thing. And then in the fall, when you had the leaves, I did leaves, and it worked all the way up. And you can see how much it's come down in the spring. And it usually comes down this height in the spring. But I haven't been using the compost. I haven't been doing anything for the compost. So what I have been doing is I cleared all that spot out of the first few layers. And what I really wanted was the bottom layers, the stuff that had really turned to compost when I first started putting using this as a compost pile. So I took all the newer stuff off. I pulled it this way. I shoveled it into the wheelbarrow, and I put it on the garden beds. You'll see that later. And then I came back, and the stuff that's not ready to come off the compost pile, I had used the garden hoe that I showed you in a previous video to slough all of that back up. And the key to a good compost pile is to pile it as high as you can. So I'm trying to pile it as high as I can. Everything there is that I piled back that way is wet and heavy and layered. There's layers of grass, there's layers of wet leaves and whatnot. So and then I know when I get to the compost part is when I peel up all of the other stuff that as you can see down here, I'm peeling up. That is grass from years ago, and it is still green. So I peel all that up, and I eventually get to the nice dry compost. So I'm peeling all that up. There's a piece of plastic, I have to get it out of there. Okay, so I take the composted stuff, and I dig it out, and I put it in the wheelbarrow. And this is what I'm going to do, and that's and then I try to keep on piling that compost pile as high as possible. So I'm going to take all of that out of there. I'll peel a little bit more back, but take all of the compost out of there, peel all that back up into the pile, then take this piece and rake this piece into what I've taken out. So that has a chance to keep composting. I will take this and I will pile that as high as possible and get down here and take all the compost at the bottom and put it in the wheelbarrow and put it on my raised garden beds. So that's what I am doing at this point. It is hard, it is slow going, it is raining, there are mosquitoes everywhere, and but that's what I'm doing. And I still have to prune my trees here. And what you do, this tree had, just as a by the by, this tree had blight on it at one point. And what I didn't know about blight is if you lop the blight off, below the blight, that's fine, but you have to stick your loppers in bleach between the bad pieces and the good pieces. So I didn't know that, so I had to spend the last few years lopping and bleaching and lopping and some more and bleaching. So I didn't spread any more of the blight at all. It looks like the blight is gone, but still I have to go down here and snip all this and get all this cleaned up. And so that's impeding the compost pile gathering, which is impeding the raised garden bed plantings. So a little at a time. That's what I'm gonna do, a little at a time. Here comes my dog helping me along. So I guess I'll take a break and then come back and do a little more, and take a break, come back, do a little more. I gave Mom lunch and she's all set. We had a wonderful lunch, and then I need to go out a little bit later and get some Easter eggs that the bunny has laid for Mom for Easter. Okay, that's all I have. Okay, I hope you're doing well. Talk to you later. Bye.